What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Before we dive in, if you follow crypto, XRP, and market psychology, go ahead and tap the like button right now. It really helps this content reach people who want real discussion, not hype. And if you want more calm, clear breakdowns like this, make sure you're subscribed because what we're about to talk about is something most people are completely misunderstanding. So let's address the headline everyone keeps reacting to: Jake Claver, XRP, a shocking prediction, and a timeline people can't stop talking about. 15 days. Now let's slow this down immediately because this is where YouTube policy matters and where viewers need clarity, not excitement. This video is not financial advice. Nothing here is a guarantee. We're talking about opinions, interpretations, and market structure, not promises or price targets. When someone like Jake Claver shares a prediction, the most important thing isn't the number or the timeline, it's the context. Too many people hear a date and their emotions take over. They either feel instant excitement or instant fear. That reaction is exactly how most people get trapped into bad decisions. Predictions are not events, they are viewpoints. And what makes this conversation interesting isn't the idea that something will happen in 15 days. It's why so many people are suddenly paying attention to that idea. Crypto markets are extremely sensitive to narratives. When a recognizable voice says something that sounds confident, the market doesn't wait to verify. It reacts emotionally. That reaction spreads faster than facts. Jake Claver's perspective, like many analysts, is based on patterns, macro trends, regulatory developments, and timing windows. That does not mean outcomes are guaranteed. It means he's interpreting signals the way many market observers do. The danger comes when viewers turn interpretation into certainty. XRP, more than almost any other asset, sits at the intersection of speculation and infrastructure. That makes timelines especially tricky. Infrastructure does not move on influencer schedules. It moves on legal clarity, institutional readiness, and system integration. So when people hear 15 days away, the responsible question isn't how high. The responsible question is 15 days away from what exactly? Is it awareness? Is it attention? Is it a legal milestone? Is it a market reaction window? Or is it simply a point in time someone believes could shift sentiment? Those are very different things. One of the biggest mistakes retail investors make is assuming that all predictions refer to price. Often, analysts are talking about moments of decision, not explosions. Moments where uncertainty decreases, moments where narratives change, moments where positioning shifts. Those moments don't always look dramatic on a chart. Another thing people forget is that XRP has been through years of extreme speculation already. Anyone who has followed this asset long enough knows that timelines come and go. Some matter, some don't, and only hindsight tells the difference. That doesn't mean all predictions are meaningless. It means they should be treated as discussion points, not deadlines. Jake Claver's comments have sparked attention because they align with a broader feeling in the market that something structural is changing, not necessarily overnight and not necessarily explosively, but gradually and meaningfully. Markets often move before the average person understands why, and sometimes they don't move at all when everyone expects them to. That's why emotional trading is so dangerous. If you anchor yourself to a specific date, you hand control over your decisions to the calendar instead of logic, and markets love punishing rigid expectations. From a US perspective, regulatory clarity remains one of the biggest variables for XRP. That process does not obey hype cycles. It follows legal procedure, and legal procedure moves slowly, then suddenly. This is why analysts focus on windows instead of days. A 15-day idea doesn't mean something must happen on day 15. It means attention, preparation, or decision-making may converge around that period. There's a big difference. Another reason these predictions gain traction is because people are tired. Tired of waiting, tired of uncertainty, tired of sideways movement. When fatigue sets in, people cling to timelines because timelines feel like control. But markets don't reward emotional exhaustion. They exploit it. If something meaningful does happen within a short window, it will likely be because groundwork was already laid long before anyone talked about it publicly. And if nothing visible happens, that doesn't mean the thesis was wrong. It means the timeline was misunderstood. This is why responsible content avoids telling people what will happen. Instead, it explains what could happen and why. Jake Claver's views should be treated as one lens, not a verdict. XRP's long-term relevance will never be decided by a YouTube prediction or a social social media countdown. It will be decided by whether its technology continues to solve real problems in a compliant, scalable way. That's not exciting, that's not viral, but it's how real systems succeed. If you're watching this and feeling that familiar pull of urgency, pause. Urgency is the enemy of clear thinking. Markets use urgency to transfer risk from the impatient to the prepared. The smartest move most of the time is not action, it's understanding. So instead of asking, what will XRP do in 15 days? Ask, what am I actually reacting to right now? Is it information or is it emotion? Because emotion fades fast. Structure doesn't. And no matter what any prediction says, that truth remains the same. And continuing from that point, it's important to understand how quickly expectations can snowball once a specific name and a specific time frame are introduced into the conversation. When people hear 15 days, the brain immediately starts building a story. It imagines charts, reactions, headlines, and outcomes that haven't happened yet. That mental movie feels real, even though it's entirely hypothetical. This is exactly why experienced market participants are cautious with dates. Dates create pressure. Pressure creates mistakes. Jake Claver, like many market commentators, isn't speaking into a vacuum. His words land in an environment already charged with anticipation. XRP holders have waited through years of uncertainty, legal debate, and stalled momentum. When someone respected suggests a window of potential change, it taps directly into that emotional backlog. But here's the part most people miss. Anticipation itself changes behavior. Once a date becomes popular, positioning changes. Traders front run it, others hedge against it, some step aside completely. By the time the date arrives, the market environment is already different from when the prediction was made. That's why markets often disappoint people who expect fireworks on a specific day. The move, if there is one, frequently happens before or after, not during. Another layer to this is how algorithms react to sentiment spikes. Social media engagement, search trends, and volume changes all feed into automated systems. Those systems don't understand meaning. They only detect activity. Increased chatter alone can alter short-term behavior without any fundamental change underneath. This creates feedback loops. People talk more because price moves. Price moves because people talk more. Then when attention fades, price stabilizes again. None of that necessarily reflects long-term value. For XRP, this cycle has repeated many times. Sharp interest, loud debates, followed by long quiet stretches. Each cycle shakes out a different group of participants. What remains consistent is the underlying question: does the use case still matter? And the answer to that hasn't changed. Cross-border payments are still slow. Liquidity management is still inefficient. Settlement delays still cost money. These are not theoretical problems. They exist every day in the global financial system. That's why XRP continues to be discussed in serious circles, even when price action looks boring. Boring doesn't mean irrelevant. In finance, boring often means stable. There's also a misconception that institutions wait for price confirmation before engaging. In reality, institutions care more about reliability, compliance, and scalability than short-term price appreciation. Price volatility is actually a downside for infrastructure use. So when people say, if XRP was really useful, price would already reflect it, they're mixing two different timelines. Utility and speculation don't move together. Speculation is fast and emotional. Utility is slow and methodical. Jake Claver's perspective resonates with people because it suggests those timelines may be approaching a point of interaction, not colliding explosively, but intersecting enough to be noticed. That's a subtle but important distinction. Another thing worth mentioning is how often people underestimate survivorship.